It's in your colon. This is all over your body.
So it's turned off right now?
Yeah. It's turned off.
Okay.
Those results will last 12 to 16 hours.
And then we'll go back to
They don't go back to that?
that?
After 12, 16?
They'll go back to where they were before she.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the results last, if you don't, that's why the recommendation is to do it twice a day, and it covers the 24-hour period. Because if you don't change all the reasons that the blood looked like it did to begin with, many of which are outside our control and are environmentally influenced, then in fact, the blood will, I mean, your body will behave the same way before. This is a commitment to say, I'm going to do this twice a day for the rest of my life.
So there's no accumulative effect?
Yes, there is. There is a cumulative effect.
Oh, there is?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So at some point, then they will stay more open and go more correctly?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, if it stays open for 12 to 16 hours, and then you do it again, they'll stay.
Oh, so
no
matter how long you do it, you still have to do it every 12 or 16 hours?
So it isn't
Yes.
accumulative?
It's
just
not
like it keeps doing
accumulative.
it.
Yeah. But the effects are also cumulative, particularly in terms of oxygen utilization or absorption. It takes a good 6 to 8 weeks of steadily using it twice a day in order to change your partial oxygen pressure. Because it changes, your body's not designed, we like to think we can pop a pill and everything's changed. And we have to get out of that mentality, obviously, in this kind of using a more gentle approach that follows the body's own parameters. The changes are subtle every day. So they build a little bit more, a little bit more.
And pills don't work on that lower part of the blood system at 75%.
No, because they can't get to where they have to be.
Yeah,
So-
they just create more of a toxic load.
And in fact, the more, I mean, there is a great deal of research that's focusing on what they call venous return or venous drainage.
Yeah.
Because the fact that it is not, that toxins and waste products are not being cleaned out is what happens to create such a great place for disease to thrive. So, another thing I just wanted to talk about briefly, because we talked about that the body doesn't have enough blood to be everywhere at once. Part of its autonomous function is to say, where do I need to put the blood now? So, during the daytime, our active phase, it's going to be in your muscles, in your brain, in your digestive system. But at nighttime is when your body regenerates. That's when children grow. That's when cells divide. That's when they repair themselves, and that's why it's so important for people to get a full cycle of sleep. How many people do you know that wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and don't get back to sleep? I suggest there's a few in this room, yeah?
Yeah.
It's very common, more common even with women than it is with men. But that's why it's so important, because it's a debilitative, gradual process. If you're not getting that deep sleep, your body's not repairing itself. If it's not repairing itself, the cells are dying. Okay? And so I want to show you when, in fact, we have problems like that, what it looks like. Now, I apologize that you've just eaten, so this first picture is a little bit gross. But I'll pre-warn you. We talked about diabetes being a circulatory disease, and it's simply it usually impacts the lower limbs because they're further away from the heart. I'm going to show you a picture here on the left. This is a wound down here on the shin of a man who has had this condition for over 2 years. Even if the doctors were to inject antibiotics here, there's no way to get to the actual place where the problem is. There is no circulation. That means that the wound is not healing, and that flesh is, I'm sorry, it's rotting. The only thing that Western medicine can do under these circumstances is to amputate it. And in fact, this person was scheduled to have an amputation of their lower leg. We do approximately 41,000 amputations of diabetic limbs a year in this country alone. Mm-hmm. At an average cost of about $40,000 to $50,000. And oftentimes it's the same, it's progressive for the person. Oftentimes it would start with their toes, and then it would start with the foot, and then it would go to the lower leg, and then sometimes the upper leg. So you can have multiple amputations from the same person, you know, just same person when the circulation isn't working. However, you can use that certain technology, and there's nothing else to use but that. 1 month and 2 months. You can see that the flesh the wound is healed up, and in fact that the flesh is starting to heal, and it's turning back into skin color of a human. It's
Well,
not
if you quit using the machine, does it go back to?
Yeah, because you haven't changed the circumstances. It's not designed. It can't fix it if you still have the same problems that you did before. If there's reasons that the circulation's not happening. So you need physical external stimulation to create that circulation. If, as somebody who has, remember I said 3 to 5 times a minute you want, and maybe a diabetic has it once in 10 minutes, using this equipment you can get up to maybe once a minute, which is better than once in 10 minutes. But you're never going to get it back to 3 to 5 times a minute, which is what you are when you're really young and healthy. What caused, we talked about some reasons that caused the slowdown of this pumping action: stress, pollution, food, poor nutrition in our food. All those things.
If I quit doing those things, will it stay okay?
Can you change what you're breathing diesel fume from the buses when you walk outside, that you're exposed to cell phone radiation and microwaves, and those things are outside your control? Yes, they're absolutely, and diabetics can change, we've read about it a lot, they can change a lot about, particularly type 2, if it's with diet and exercise, absolutely. But it may not be enough. And I'm just saying that there's things outside our control. There's no way that you're going to eliminate stress from our lives. Yoga and meditation are the greatest things for you to cope with it. It doesn't eliminate the stress. So the point is that the factors that contributed to the problem in the first place, many of which are outside of our total control. And so this is another example again of somebody with a diabetic problem. They had something sharp drop on this middle toe here, and but if you look here, you see the discoloration here between the skin. This is kind of healthy skin, but that the lack of circulation, look at the swelling, and the lack of circulation is starting, this flesh is starting to die. And so the Western approach to this was they were going to amputate his foot. What they did by using this technology instead, by just getting the circulation to all the different cells so that the cells could repair themselves. That's what your body is designed to do. It's designed to fix itself if it has what it needs. By doing that, they were able to simply take off that one toe, and this is like 2 months later. The foot's back to normal.
After using the machine?
Yeah, but you can't use it and stop.
Yeah, I like to think of it as like a battery recharger. If you stop recharging your batteries, you can't expect the batteries to work after that. I mean, you have to keep on using that. So that
This is a battery charger for your body.
Right.
Yeah, like your cell phone, once it runs down and you get that little red sign, you gotta plug it in.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So when people say, well, can I just use it for a month or something?
Oh,
No.
no.
You can. It won't, and you'll certainly be better off, but gradually you'll go back to where you were. So another problem with diabetics in particular is that they have vision loss. This is retinopathy, and this is a very interesting picture because the problem, the inflammation here, this is called a buildup of metabolic waste. They're called drusen in the eye. So this white stuff here is the inflammation in the waste product. About 80% of people with this, with retinopathy, lose vision totally, and it's a very high rate of diabetics in our country. This is after 9 months. You can see that this is almost gone, and because in your eyes there's the highest concentration of tiny blood vessels, more than any other place in your body. So absolutely your vision is affected by circulation tremendously. So here's another picture of a woman who's been in the hospital for 2 years. This is very painful. You can see the size of this on her ankle. It made it hard for her to walk. And she's in the hospital. The doctors can't do anything because there's no circulation. Once you start giving the body what it needs, it can fix itself. Now when you're 88, it does take longer than when you're 48. But it took 9 months of doing this every day. And she was able to heal up and feel better and walk again. So giving people back their mobility.
How much time do you spend on a treatment?
8 minutes twice a day. So this is another example. If you're, the reason I mentioned herpes zoster is that's a virus, the same virus that causes shingles. And a lot of people you hear about shingles, it's very painful. When it's on your eye, it's extremely painful. Can you see the difference between here and here? That was 3 days. 3 days.
Wow.
If you know anybody who
amazing.
gets shingles, who's exposed to that, have them see Joyce. And hold on, I have to turn this off. It's my fault for turning that. No,
And he didn't do anything else? He just did the machine?
nothing else. I mean, certainly you want to be doing the more, you want to be drinking lots of water and eating good food and things like that. But this was no other modality at the time.
That's insane.
Another thing that you hear that people have very commonly is psoriasis. And if you're familiar, this is crusty and painful. I don't think this woman could put on clothes and go to work. The kinds of conventional medications that are used for this are petroleum product based. They have lots of side effects, and
They make it worse.
the side effects can be often worse. This was over a period of time of 2 weeks, and over that 2 weeks it was only 8 sessions. So it wasn't even twice a day, but it was every other day over a period of 2 weeks. Again, you give your body what it needs, open up the circulation, the body can fix itself. This is a case of someone who had a fractured femur. It was put together surgically here. And after 4 weeks, it was not healing very well. After 8 weeks of starting to use this equipment, you can see how the bone is built up around here. That's probably about twice as fast as would be normal. So
I'm still confused with, the body can help heal itself.
the body's designed to heal itself.
Okay, so the machine helps them to get to that spot where the body can help heal
All the
itself?
machine does is it does this pumping action. It prompts that pumping action to happen. That vasomotion is what pushes the blood into the capillaries. Every one of your 100 trillion cells has to be touched by those capillaries every day, all the time. For those capillaries to touch the cells, then it creates an action. It lets oxygen into the cells, it lets nutrients into the cells, and it cleans out the waste products. That allows the cells to create energy. Everything that the cell does, whether it's a cell in your liver or your spleen or your kidney, whatever that cell has to do its job, it needs to have energy to do it. It has to produce its own energy. There's no way you can buy it, infuse it from anywhere else. You got to make your own. And if you don't make your own energy, the function of that cell will be compromised, and then ultimately it will be the organ that's compromised. And it may take years to get to the point where you feel sick.
For those people who are challenged with some cancer of one sort or another, how does it affect cancer cells?
Well, what we know specifically that it does not, cancer is not a natural state. And so what this does is it helps the body self-regulate. It does not cause the proliferation of cancer. So what else do we know, generally accepted scientific wisdom, if you will, about cancer? Cancer thrives when there's no oxygen. Cancer thrives when highly acidic environment, and toxins are all acidic. So a total imbalance between acid and pH, alkaline. Cancer thrives in a low energy environment. Remember that low energy can't clean out the waste products. So those three elements are some of the biggest ingredients to create an environment where cancer thrives. I'm not going to make the connection for you, but if you get more oxygen in, if you let your cells create more energy for themselves, and you help the body eliminate toxins that are acids, you can connect that dot. It will not hurt. It depends on all kinds of other things as to genetics and predispositions, what impact it could have. If somebody's at stage 4 at the end of their life, is it going to be a miracle? It's possible, but you don't want to manage expectations like that. So,
How long does this machine last?
let me talk about that at the end, if you
Yeah,
don't
we're
mind.
almost, we're getting towards that point.
Yeah, so all right, so I want to be quick, I just want to finish this. Real quick, this is a woman who had removal of a tumor behind her ear from where her Bluetooth was, I will comment. And the surgeon happened to nick one of the nerves. And so this woman was a cosmetologist and worked in the beauty business. And she's a young woman, you can see. She was not able to close her eyes. She had to put a pad over her eyes to sleep. This was her attempt to smile. Okay? She was extremely depressed, and she was even contemplating taking her own life. That's a month later.
Oh my God.
There's no magic here. It's give your body what it needs.
So the nerve regenerated then, I take it.
The body can repair itself. Yeah. The blood flow enabled the body to repair itself. Another quick example, because again, it's not just for older people. This guy took a header, took off a lot of skin on his face. This is 12 days later.
Oh my gosh. Oh my word.
And the beauty of this technology also is that it is safe for even little babies. This is in a clinic in Europe, and this happens to be the previous model of this equipment. One of the reasons that little babies die when they're premature is that their lungs are not fully developed, and their lungs collapse and they can't breathe. And so they put them on support, and they give them injections of nitric oxide. What this technology does is it prompts the body to produce its own. So the loss of life changed dramatically when in fact they put this with little babies. So the idea, again, and I'll finish up very quickly, is we can't get younger, but we might as well feel younger and go out with a bang with some quality.
Just like that picture over there, that was so cool.
Yeah.
I love it. This is a real band. So I appreciate your time. I can answer some more questions. I don't want to overstay.
Some people have to leave, that's,
Yeah.
most of us are.
So, yeah, it's not. This is not something that's designed that you can use it and then stop using it. That's why I've used it every day for 12 years. I don't take any medications. I haven't had surgeries that I was told that I absolutely had to have. I went through a period of time in my life that some of you may be familiar with for women called menopause, and I didn't go postal, so that was pretty good for me. And I take care of. I helped raise my granddaughter. I'm the primary caregiver for her while my daughter's at work. So for me, I didn't have a condition that I said that this was something I had to cure, because we don't cure anything, but this is a quality of life issue for me. And that's why I like to share knowledge with people that there are possibilities, thanks to modern research and development, that provide alternatives. So the important thing is to remember that your body, that every cell needs those three elements, and it needs it all the time. And the reason at this point that our lifestyle is creating an environment where your body can't get those things that it needs, the oxygen, nutrients, and waste removal. It's just not happening, and that's why we've got 45,000 plus diseases. We're spending more money on healthcare, we got more sick people, we're taking more pills. There's something wrong with that direction. So the idea is to say, give your body what it needs, and you have to do it from a physical external stimulation point. But you can overcome the problems that are created by our modern lifestyle.
Is the medical profession beginning to recognize the value of this, or
In
are
this
they
country?
blind to it?
There's, in Europe, I'd say there's between 3,000 and 4,000 doctors and clinics in Europe and universities that use this already. Over here, it's, I would say there's probably a couple of hundred.
Oh, wow.
If you're looking for a doctor that would be receptive to this technology and understand information in energy medicine, they would be a functional medicine doctor. That's what they combine all kinds of modalities and look at the person as a whole. Right. And functional medicine gets this.
Oh, yeah.
But it's growing, but it's growing very slowly because this happens to be something where there's so much education involved. It's a personal, one-to-one kind of, let me tell you about this. It's not something where there's massive advertising and people get it, because there's too much that has to be explained. So it's a growing number, but it's not large yet.
And one last question, of the link of the benefit for cholesterol.
So what in my experience, we go back and say, there is nothing that heals or cures any particular thing, because your body is designed to do that for itself when it has what it needs. Therefore, what I have seen is when people have low cholesterol, it regulates to a better level. When they have high cholesterol, it regulates to a better level. And oftentimes people are able to reduce medications, but you can't promise that, because I can't tell all the other things about their conditions and their lifestyles. Yeah, sorry.
I know this is not a sales presentation, and I know I can go to it first here, but I have a friend that has a very bad diabetes, and she doesn't live here. If she wanted to get the machine, how could she do that?
Are you talking about she lives in a different country?
In Guatemala.
Guatemala. So,
and what's the price more or less? I don't know if you can say that.
Not a problem. The price is the same all over the world. Just different currencies, if you will. But and you're talking two different models. It's between 4,290 and 5,990, depending on the model. But the only way she would be able to get one in Guatemala right now, or Mexico, is she'd have to purchase it here and take it back with the person. So that would be yes.
I would like to give a testimonial.
That would be wonderful.
Yes. I was diagnosed with hepatitis C in 2004. I may have had it since I was a dental hygienist sometime in the 70s or early 80s. I don't know, because I was in the hospital getting lots of injections when I had a ruptured appendix in 2002 and so forth. So anyway, I've been on the machine. I've been in stage 2 up till 2009, and then I didn't have a biopsy after that. But this year, I went on the Beamer in August, and I followed all the directions. I was faithful. I took it on vacation with me. I used the belt. I bought the top of the line Pro, because I used the belt around my liver and my small intestines, because I had issues there too. And 2 months later, I had a FibroScan test, and I am in stage 0, from 2 to 0. So they told me that my liver is healthier than a person without hepatitis C in their body, because my number came up 4. Under 7 is a 0 to 1, and mine from 0 to 7 in that range, I was a 4, and the average healthy person without hepatitis is a 5.3, and I was under that. Yes, and I wasn't drinking. I was taking care of myself and doing all the things that I needed to do, and I'm continuing. But I noticed this week I've been so busy. I've been only averaging 1 time for the last 3 days, and not enough sleep. And I need to correct that, because I can feel I'm tired and all. But I had a cause, and now I'm kind of like gonna shift gears. So my health is number 1. My health is number 1. Yeah. And I also got rid of SIBO. I had that at the same time, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Okay? I had that going on. I had rashes, continual rashes for the last year and a half from that, and taking antihistamines like every day. Now I'm taking a half an antihistamine once a week when I start feeling a little itchy, and it's because I had, like, you know, a little piece of pizza or something that put me over the edge. You know, I can still tell I have, you know, I'm prone to the inflammation, so I have to be careful. Yeah, so that's my story.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm congratulating myself.
We have one question back there. Just need an overhaul.
Yeah, it really works. It really does.
I wanted to know, you mentioned about the bones, helping the bones, so what does this do for osteoporosis?
Well, if you increase the production of osteoblasts by 4 to 5 times, you're going to help bone heal faster. And what we found is, but when you're dealing with bones, because they're very dense and it's not something that you have a lot of blood flow through, it takes longer. So people that are dealing with osteopenia, osteoporosis, it might take maybe 12 months to see a difference in their bone density mass. But, and that, thank you for bringing that up, because one thing that I didn't mention is that one of the real exciting parts of what this company is doing is that they were approached by NASA. Because NASA was concerned, I don't know if you're aware, but when astronauts go out into space, they go past the Earth's geomagnetic field, and they would be instantly start to become sick. They would start to lose bone mass, they'd have muscle atrophy, they would have fluid retention and have a lot of problems that would happen within the first 24 hours. And so they were looking for something. What they found was this equipment. And so, and they looked all over the world. So there is a project between NASA and Beamer to take the same coils and technology that are in the mat that you've maybe seen with Joyce, put those coils into an undergarment for the spacesuits for astronauts to go into space so that they can manage that.
Wow.
I think that generates a lot of credibility for the science and the research they've done.
A very quick question. Did you ever use it on the 42 chickens?
Yes. And I will tell you that because you know, when you have Labradors, they like to retrieve things, and this was a chicken who didn't get back in time, and he caught her, and she was one of the granddaughters' favorite chickens. And you know what they do when they grab something, you don't bite it, but they shake it. Well, chickens can die from shock and trauma, and they're just little, like 1 or 2 pound things. So I'm running and screaming at the dog to drop it, drop it, drop it, and the chicken is like this. And I wrap the chicken up, and we still have that chicken laying there. And it's been used on a fish, too, so I tell you. And your plants. So,
And you can put it on a bottle of wine, and it'll make the wine better.
Yay!
Honest to God.
What the strap? You should know.
So, definitely talk to Joyce. It's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, we'll try it, Joyce.
Yeah, but you didn't expect me to say that.
I certainly didn't.
So, anyway.
How about joint health? Like, as we get older, our joints start to hurt, and we can wear.
You know, one of the reasons why your joints start to hurt?
The cartilage inflammation.
Yes. But also, remember we talked about at nighttime your body moves the blood into your internal organs to clean them out? We would be dead if we didn't have the toxins cleaned out of our major organs. But if you don't have enough circulation to eliminate those from your body, where do you think your body is most likely going to put those toxins? So when you wake up in the morning and you go, I can't move, one of the reasons is that you don't have sufficient venous drainage and you haven't eliminated the toxins, and that's where they are.
Oh, God.
What about this?
Last question.
What can you tell me about the sleep program?
So the sleep program is one that is designed through research done at the laboratory that produced that intervital microscopy to run at a specific level that is a much lower frequency, and it runs for 2 hours after you turn it on, and it turns off during your deepest sleep, and then it turns itself on 2 hours before you wake up. And that has been proven in the clinical trials to show that it maximizes the detoxification process and the regenerative process, and that's its whole point. It's not necessarily something designed to make you sleep better, although that is a natural byproduct, but it's designed for that to support that regeneration. So,
One other real great benefit is when I lay on it, it's my time to relax. You know, so I'll turn off the TV usually, and I'll have my water there, and I'll do my meditation. So it's a way to just spend those few minutes doing my meditation, whereas other days I might not do my meditation and relax, so I can go into a deep state of relaxation.
well, if you're
It feels
taking,
tingly.
if you're taking out 8 minutes twice a day for yourself, you're already ahead of the game. For many people who don't meditate and take care of themselves, so that's a good start. The better you feel, the more often you want to take other steps to feel better too. So
Exactly.
anyway, I apologize for running over
Oh, no,
time.
That's fine.
Thank you, Wonder, thank you, Cindy. This was so good.
Okay, let's decide where we're doing this.
Right here.
How many people want to go outside?